Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 18th lesson in the advanced class. We're going to share the screen and get started. And today is exciting because, well, for some of us, it's exciting, but for everyone, it's important. And that's medicine. Doctors, our health, we can't avoid it. It's something that stays with us forever. We're always concerned about health. Parents are concerned about their children's health. And once the children become adults, they're concerned about their own health, or at least they should be. And then as we age, health becomes an ever increasingly or an ever more important issue. And when you get really old and you're talking to, and if you're talking to your grandparents, you know how important it is because that's all they talk about. Or the weather and how it affects their health. So if you want to get on well with your grandparents, if you're young, here's a pro tip. Ask about their health. They'd love to tell you about it. Good or bad, they'll talk about it. But they're not any different than we will be in the future. So let's begin with some vocabulary, health, and medicine. How good a doctor are you? Let's talk about this. Why might someone have a bruise? Do you know what a bruise is? It's this black and blue mark. So this is not a very pleasant subject to bring up, but if you're in public, if you're in the metro or in a public space and you see a woman with a bruise, you automatically, at least most of us, think of the worst. Most of the time they just fell, something hit, maybe something dropped on them. But it's not a good sight, is it? Not pleasant to see bruises, especially on our faces. This is particularly unpleasant to look at. But a bruise, we've all had them, black and blue. And the older we get, the longer the bruises stay and the deeper the color becomes. A rash, if you touch poisonous grass or poison ivy, this ivy on the fences, and you can break out. Here's how you collocate it. You break out into a rash. A rash is broken out on your body. The chicken pox is a form of a rash. It sort of is all over your body and it's itching. You want to itch. And then a blister. Where do we find blisters? On our feet, mainly. Sometimes on our hands. If we're powerlifting, we have blisters on our hands. Or if we're riding a bike a lot, we have blisters on our hands. But oftentimes when we are breaking in new shoes, this is a new collocation for most of us. To break in new shoes is to wear them enough to get them comfortable, to get them flexible. But before they're broken in, they often cause blisters. Blisters are painful, especially if it rubs to the point it starts to bleed. Oh. All right, side effects. What are the side effects of taking that medicine? Recently, my friend told me that their grandmother is taking medicine for her knee. It's so painful that she has to take medicine for the knee. What's the side effect? She's going a bit crazy and accusing everyone of stealing her stuff. So the side effects of taking medicine can be quite serious. So we have to take note of the side effects of everything we absorb or consume. All right, now what I want to do is look at some extended metaphors. Because medicine and our health is a ubiquitous fact of life, it's everywhere. We often use these in extended senses, in metaphors. So let's take a look at a few. I hope you can see this. I really do hope you can. Let's see. I'm just changing the PDF. So let's look at this. You can also be bruised emotionally or psychologically. So for example, if you had a very bad experience at work and you were fired in a very rude or public way, this can bruise or scar. Scar is another thing we have on our bodies, these marks that stay for a long time. These are scars. You can be bruised or scarred emotionally or psychologically. In other words, that can affect you for a long time. A rash, we talked about with the chicken pox or something poisonous on your body, poison ivy or something, but you can make a rash decision. A rash decision is a very quick decision that isn't well thought out. It's a rash decision, probably not the best decision. They made a rash decision and got married on the weekend. Blister, we've talked about blister, but if you can talk about it in an extended sense to mean speed. A blistering time. She ran a blistering 100 meters. So a blistering time is a very fast time. Let's move back. What treatment might you be given for a small cut? Now, you're going to discuss these in your speaking classes, or perhaps a little bit in the live, but let's talk about what a small cut is. A small cut can be a paper cut. A paper cut is literally when generally a finger is cut on paper. Has anyone had a paper cut? Now, we have a specific term in English, a phrase, paper cut. And the reason we do is because paper cuts are particularly painful, even though they're barely visible. You get a paper cut and it stings, it hurts more than it should because you can barely see it. But a paper cut is a small cut, but a painful cut. Now, a deep cut, by contrast, is one that can be very serious. A paper cut isn't serious to your health, but a deep cut can be. It's a gash or a wound. And this is very serious. It can be, you know, from a knife or a sharp object. It can be from an animal attack or, heaven forbid, a fight with someone. But this, or if you're playing sports, you can, have one of these. A throat infection is not the same as a sore throat, but we often say, I've got a sore throat, and then that can turn into a throat infection. My throat hurts. We generally don't say that. I have a sore throat. That's what we say. I sprained an ankle. Another way to say that is I turned my ankle. I turned my ankle. That means you sprained it. It's a light, well, we know what a sprain is. It's not broken. It's not fractured. We have broken arm. We know what a broken arm is. Then we have a fracture, which is partially broken. And a sprain, I think, is just overstressed tendons or ligaments or muscles. Now, someone can correct me. The doctors can correct me, but that is a sprain. Less serious, but very painful. And sometimes takes longer, I'm told, to heal because you never give it enough rest, because you can sort of still walk. With something broken, oftentimes you have a cast. A cast is that white, solid object on your foot or your arm. You can't move it. In the US, we call this a cast. And in England, it's called plaster. So let's go ahead and write these down. A cast on your arm or plaster. That's the UK. The UK uses plaster. We've never used that. By the way, plaster, I think it's called plaster. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Plaster is also known as a Band-Aid. So in the US, we say Band-Aid. Band-Aid. But in the UK, I think they say plaster, if I'm not mistaken. So you can check that. But those very different words, and they don't interchange them. They're not interchangeable. So they won't use Band-Aid in the UK, and we will never use plaster in the US. So if someone asks for plaster, an American won't have any idea what you're talking about unless you want to plaster a wall. That's what we would know plaster as. And you would say, no, my walls are just fine, thank you. No need to plaster them. All right. Let's do some pronunciation. A cold, the flu, food poisoning. Try it again. Food poisoning. A heart attack. A stroke. All right. Now, you can look at these on your own, but a bee sting, a bee that stung, a bee sting. All right. Listening, I'm going to let you do, but let's do the pronunciation here. Placebo. Placebo is also the name of a band, I think. So we have two here. A substance that has no physical effects, given to patients who do not need medicine but think they do, or used when testing new drugs. Now, grammar with advanced gerunds and infinitives. This is where life gets more complicated. If it wasn't already complicated enough with our health issues. I don't know what to say. Let's go ahead and do letter A, complete the sentences with the correct form of the verb. Then say if they are true or not. I'm really bad at remembering to take or taking medicine. At remembering to take medicine. I have never enjoyed go or going. I've never enjoyed going to the dentist. My parents never used to make me put on sunscreen when I was a child. But these are really important. I highly recommend that for some of you, you just memorize them. Now, don't memorize them in a boring way. Create sentences with them. First of all, put them in the right category, and then you alone, or if you want to do it with a speaking partner, take turns using one of these words in the correct sentence. And your speaking partner, of course, can judge and assess whether you've done that correctly. Now, we're going to go down to 8A and look at these advanced gerunds and infinitives. So here's how I recommend you study this page. Most of us aren't meticulous enough. Meticulous is a big word, and I'm going to write that down because I like it. Meticulous is this. Most of us are detailed. Meticulous means detailed. Most of us aren't meticulous enough when it comes to reading carefully the rules. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go through how I would do it. You've got to be meticulous. First of all, you've got to be fresh, and then you've got to sort of focus. So we use passive gerund with actions done to the subject. So actions done to me. So, or to her in this case, she hates being told. So someone tells her she hates being told she should do more exercise. My mother hates being told to drink more water. That's a fact. I'm tired of being lied to. Someone's lying to me. I want the truth. I'm tired of being lied to. So someone is lying to me. It's not easy to be liked when you're the boss. It's not easy to be liked. That might be true. These pills need to be taken after meals, taken by someone. So I need to take the pills, but if you're not sure who needs to take the pills, you say, or if everyone does, these pills need to be taken. Or if you're talking to the patient, these pills need to be taken after meals. It implies you need to take these pills after each meal. Number two, again, we use the perfect gerund when the action is completed. So let's look at completed actions. He thanked them, that's the past, for having helped him. They helped him, he thanked them. But this is reported speech. He thanked them for having helped him. I can't say it in the first, I thanked you for having helped me. It sounds really strange. You want to report that. Having studied one language before makes it easier to learn another. All right. It's a finished action that you've already done. It implies that you've done that. How wonderful to have finished all our exams. We finished them. So you can use this in the past, the perfect gerund. It's how wonderful to have finished. How wonderful to finish. No, how wonderful to have finished all our exams. It happened yesterday. I'm with now a colleague of mine. She was in the class with me, and I can say, wow, doesn't it feel great to have finished the exams? By the time I'm 30, I hope to have started here. Now we have it in the future, which is very interesting. All right, number 3. Let's go to number 3. We use perfect infinitive to have seen when, so here's the perfect gerund, having studied, but now we have, sorry, this is the infinitive. So the perfect infinitive to talk about an earlier action. Look at number 3. I would like to have seen your face. So I didn't see it because I wasn't there, but I would like to have seen it. I would have liked to have gone to the last Elton John concert. So you can practice these. And here's what I write in this note. Try to imagine a situation in which you could say these sentences. So I try to use real situations in my life. I would like, or I would have liked to have seen. I would like to have seen. Oh, I know. What's the great, this great musician. Well, I would have liked to have heard Count Basie, Duke Ellington, Cab Calloway perform live. All right, talk about these. How do you practice them? Use the example and then convert it into something that is real in your life. Now, if you want to do that with a speaking partner, that gives you an extra layer of accountability, because now someone's listening to you, and now you're listening not only to yourself, but you're listening to how they would hear you. And I think it actually adds value to the exercise. All right. Again, I've highlighted what I think is really important. You use the gerund after certain expressions. This is where, I mean, it's clear, but they're a lot. So don't panic. Just try to digest. Here's a culinary food term. Digest what you can slowly. So after it or there, it's no use worrying. There's nothing you can do. Is there any point in asking? So there is no point in asking. Is there any point in asking? Number 2, with agree, plan, hope, etc. And it's the etc. that drives us crazy, because give us the complete list. They've given you the 3 most popular. We had an agreement to share the costs. Now we have the infinitive. Our plan is to leave. Plan, here's the noun. These are nouns, not verbs. I agree, I plan, I hope, those are verbs, but we can also use them as nouns. An agreement, our plan. The hope is to leave in the morning. Our hope is to leave in the morning. There's the infinitive. After expressions with quantifiers, there's too much to see. There's not enough time in the day to finish all the English lessons. Professor Corton, stop doing this. Too much. We're learning too much too quickly. I hope that's the case. All right. After somewhere and something and anywhere, is there anything to eat? There's nowhere to go. Nowhere, anywhere, it's the same. Is there anywhere to eat right now? I'm starving. Now, a lot of these, now I've mentioned that there are a lot of rules, but honestly, a lot of these you already use sort of intuitively or subconsciously. Not unconsciously. Unconsciously means you're not conscious. You're on the floor playing dead or looking dead. Subconsciously means not actively thinking about it. All right. Number 5, after question verbs except why. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I don't know whom to do it with or who to do it with. And after superlatives, he's the youngest player ever to play. Number 6, he's the youngest player ever to play for England. It's best to go during the week. It's best to visit Greece in the winter, whatever. To visit it. So these superlatives are, I think, again, you do this instinctively. We have and, you can take a look at that, and then you have homework. All right, now I would like us, we've got the listening, which you're going to do very conscientiously. Conscientiously means with care and seriousness. conscientiously. Now, I'm going to turn over. You've got homework. You've got a lot. I want to end with a few things. I think some curiosities between England and the US. So British versus American English, I think you should know this. When you take a bath, it means you wash yourself in a tub of water. That's a bath. I'm having a bath versus a shower, as opposed to a shower. The verb form for Americans is to bathe. I'm bathing. A bath is the noun. To bathe, to bathe, you need the TH, strong TH at the end, is a verb. But not in Britain. I'm bathing. One baths. It's very strange to hear this as an American, but that's what the British say. So bath is the same for both. Noun and verb is the same in Britain, different in America. A bath, to bathe. For the Brits, to bathe means to swim. I'm bathing today at the beach. So strange. You want to, as an American, you're thinking, why? Why? Don't you have a shower at home? All right, next. Common medical lingo. Now, I'm not 100% certain to the veracity. Veracity is truthfulness, big word. Let me just go ahead and write that down. I can't vouch 100% for the veracity of this chart. I did create it with the help of ChatGPT and some tweaking. If you tweak something, wow, we've got some great words. I've used this before, I think, in the class. If you tweak something, you alter it slightly, tweaking. But here we go. Here are some differences that you can go through if you're in the UK or Britain. Some of the biggest ones: family doctor, practitioner, or GP is something they use in England. This is another common big difference. We go to the drugstore or the pharmacy, and in Britain they often call it the chemist. Let's go to can you find it the chemist? Now, for us, a chemist is someone who maybe does work with the medical companies, pharmaceutical companies. They hire chemists to create the formulas for the pills. But in England, it's to go to the pharmacy. All right, you've got others like bill and invoice. I'm not actually certain about this. We use invoice as well in America. So take that with a grain of salt. Don't take some of these too seriously. Bill and invoice, I'm a little bit dubious about. Dubious, D-U-B-I-O-U-S, means doubtful. All right, some other differences. Now, here's where it gets interesting and a bit controversial. Discussion question and homework. Now, this is not my opinion necessarily, but it's a question because we're talking about doctors in the medical profession. And here's the setup to the question, discussion. Some people think chiropractors are legitimate doctors. Others see them as quacks. Now, quack is a very specific term in English, which means a fraudulent or ignorant pretender of medical skills. If they're a quack, that means they're a pseudo doctor. They're not really a doctor. They're pretending to be a doctor. And these can be quite serious. It can result in deaths. Not chiropractors. Chiropractors, I think, don't fall, they're not killing people, obviously. But there is a debate on how legitimate chiropractors are. And I want you to discuss this, but here's the homework. I want you to discuss it with a speaking partner. Discuss the question with someone in the group, and then in an audio message to me, summarize the discussion between you and your partner, and then give opinion. Who raised better points, and did the discussion change your mind on the topic? 3 things. Answer them very specifically. Don't go beyond that. I'm just asking for these 3. So follow the directions. This is an important career skill. Answer directly the questions you've been given in 1 to 2 minutes. Now that's your homework. Now let me do one more thing. I mentioned ChatGPT, and sometimes some of you might want to do this. So use this. Now I'm going to share my screen just for the last point I want to make. share here. All right, for those of you who don't know or don't use ChatGPT, this is the web address, chatopen.com or openai.com. Register, it's free, just your email. And the 3.5 version is free. I have the paid version, which is very impressive, but 3.5 works just as well for our purposes. So here's what we do. Instead of, you can get a lot of your questions answered on your own. So watch this. Give me the, so let's say you're not sure with admit if it takes a gerund or an infinitive. I admit going, I admit to go. I don't remember. So watch this. Does admit go with a gerund or an infinitive? You can use simple language. If you have more, if you want to use more correct, you can say take a, go with, or take. You can use take, a gerund or infinitive. Watch this. It finds out, you find out you can use both, but the choice depends on the context. When you use admit with gerund, it means acknowledging. She admitted lying. The museum admitted visitors plus infinitive. Wait. See, this is wrong. There is no infinitive here afterwards. So this one is wrong. We'll ignore it. But the gerund is here. Admitted them to the concert. This is a prepositional phrase and not an infinitive. So here it's wrong. But here's what's interesting. Admit. So watch with admit. Give the 3 most common uses of admit plus gerund. So let's say you're teaching or you want to just learn. Give me that. I love doing the most common things because that's going to help people the most. Now you've got to monitor ChatGPT. It's not perfect, as we've seen here. This would be wrong information if you gave it out. So you have to know a little bit about it to sort of use it, but you're at a high enough level you can. So here we go. This is a great lesson suddenly. Confession or acknowledgement of an action. She admitted cheating. Acknowledgement of a truth. They admitted having. Acknowledge of one's feelings or state. He admitted feeling. All right. I'm not sure how helpful, but the point, not sure about the categories. 1 and 2 seem to overlap quite a bit, but the point is you have now 6 sentences, common uses of admitting. He admitted making a mistake. We all make mistakes, so this sentence becomes very important. This ChatGPT can do everything. You know, give 3 synonyms for admit. And we go down and voila, acknowledge, confess, allow. So this can really help you very quickly. It's free and you should take advantage of it. Now, if you're not sure if the answers are correct, then you can see me and I will give you, hopefully, sage advice. Sage advice, S-A-G-E, is wise, wisdom, wise advice, good advice. I hope this lesson has offered some sage advice, and I hope that we're moving forward, and we will if we take this lesson seriously. Study hard, and see you at the live. Bye-bye.